Hello everyone. Welcome back to Rare Coin Treasures, your ultimate stop for everything about coins, currency, and hidden treasures from your pocket change. If you're passionate about coins or just curious about the stories hidden inside these tiny pieces of metal, then you're in for a treat today. Because today, we're going to dive deep, and I mean really deep, into the fascinating world of the Liberty 1 cent 2002 United States coin. A coin that many people overlook every single day, but that could actually be worth a staggering $11 million in the current collector's market. So, grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell, because you don't want to miss stories like this. Let's get started. At first glance, the Liberty 1 cent 2002 coin might look just like every other penny rattling around in your wallet or lying forgotten in the bottom of your pocket. But if you look closer, you'll discover a piece of American history. A tiny copper-plated storyteller that carries within it over 2 centuries of tradition and the enduring symbol of liberty. Let's peel back the layers and uncover why this simple penny is so much more than just 1 cent. The story of the Liberty 1 cent coin dates all the way back to the late 18th century, when the United States Mint first struck copper cents in 1793. Back then, the penny was far larger, roughly the size of a modern half-dollar, and bore images like the chain cent, the re-cent, and eventually the classic Liberty head design. Over the decades, the design of the penny evolved, but the concept of liberty remained constant, a nod to the freedom and independence upon which the United States was founded. The classic liberty imagery on the cent has changed forms many times, from the draped bust Liberty to the matron head, then the Indian head cent that circulated from 1859 to 1909. But perhaps the most iconic leap came in 1909, when President Abraham Lincoln's portrait replaced liberty for the first time on the obverse of the penny, marking the coin's centennial anniversary. The Lincoln cent has remained ever since, becoming one of the most collected coins in U.S. history. Yet, even with Lincoln's image on the obverse, the spirit of liberty lives on in the inscriptions, the enduring motto "In God We Trust," and the very purpose of the penny itself, to remind Americans of their roots in freedom and unity. Fast forward to 2002. This was a year when the penny still featured the Lincoln Memorial reverse design, which was first introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. The Lincoln Memorial design ran until 2008, after which the reverse switched to the Union Shield in 2010. The 2002 Liberty 1 cent represents a late chapter of the Lincoln Memorial era, a piece of modern history now becoming a vintage collectible in its own right. Now let's talk about value and circulation. Millions, and I mean hundreds of millions, of these pennies were minted in 2002. They were mass-produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. In everyday circulation, the coin is worth, of course, 1 cent, its face value. However, coin collectors know that condition is king. If you find a 2002 penny that is still in mint state condition, with a bright red luster, no scratches, and a sharp strike, it could fetch anywhere from a few dollars to hundreds of dollars depending on its grade. Collectors specifically hunt for errors, like double die obverse, off-center strikes, or rare planchet mistakes. These error coins can elevate a simple penny into a small treasure worth thousands. But today, we're not just talking about any 2002 Liberty penny. We're talking about the rarest, most perfect, and historically significant specimens ever found. Yes, you heard me right. $11 million. So how can a penny possibly reach such a mind-blowing value? Well, in the world of coin collecting, rarity, condition, provenance, and historical importance all come together to create value. There have been instances where unique specimens, such as experimental strikes, coins minted on the wrong planchet, or those with dramatic mint errors, have shocked the numismatic world by selling for record-breaking sums. For example, imagine a 2002 Liberty 1 cent struck on a valuable gold planchet by mistake, or a coin with a double die error so clear that it's the only one known in existence. Add in perfect mint state grading by a top grading company like PCGS or NGC, and you have a recipe for a penny that collectors will fight over, driving bids into the millions at auction. Stories of collectors uncovering million-dollar pennies in old jars, forgotten drawers, or inherited boxes inspire everyday people to check their pocket change. This very phenomenon keeps the hunt alive. So, who knows? Maybe that humble penny in your change jar could be worth $11 million too. How do I find one of these million-dollar pennies? Check for the tiny mint mark under the date, D for Denver, or no mark for Philadelphia. Some error coins or unique planchets might come from specific mints. Look for doubling on letters and numbers, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong metal planchet. Use a magnifying glass and good lighting. Coins that are uncirculated and still shine with their original copper red are worth much more than worn coins. Handle them with gloves. If you think you've got something special, have it graded by a professional third-party grading service. This adds credibility and can skyrocket its market value. At the end of the day, the Liberty 1 cent 2002 coin is more than just a piece of loose change. It's a reminder that history is alive, in our pockets, in our hands, and sometimes, if you're lucky, sitting at the bottom of an old jar waiting to surprise you. So, next time you get a penny back in change, look closely. That 1 cent could be your ticket to an $11 million treasure. Thank you so much for joining me today for this deep dive into the Liberty 1 cent 2002 coin. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, share this with your friends and fellow collectors, and tell me in the comments, what's the coolest coin you've ever found? And remember, keep searching, keep collecting, and keep the history alive, one coin at a time.